Thursday, February 20th, 2025. I know y'all been waiting on this. Y'all been asking where y'all been. We're back. Synthesizers, beats, and inspirations. Today, it's all about producers, production. I got super producer Kerry Hayes with me. I am super producer King Joe. Well, I'm just a producer. I don't know who's a producer. But we got to go. Who's the top? We're going to talk about it right now. Let's go.
Took some overtime to get the time right. Had to lose a little mind to get my mind right. Finally realized, but in hindsight, you wanted the limelight. Me priority never once. You kept close but never really wasn't. I accept you're like a focus. Agree with all your choices. Needed you to need me. Needed you to see. Until I found the right direction, I think my reflection would agree. Had to find a me in me.
The Joy Sport by K. David Jordan.
Hello. How's everybody doing? I am King Jordan, and you're looking at your host over there, Mr. Kerry, super producer Haynes. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. It's funny that you call me the super producer. I'm like a Uber producer.
Modesty always gets you everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Modesty gets you the world. But we know, bro. We actually know what's going on, bro, with you, dog. How you been, man? How you been holding up?
I'm doing great, man. Just busy trying to get through this cold weather and, just trying to get through the winter and looking forward to the spring, better weather, stuff like that. So, yeah, man, just hanging in there. Blessed, that's all. Just blessed.
Hey, man, blessed to be alive, blessed to be here, blessed to get into what we're about to get into. Thank you guys for joining us for Synthesizers, Beats, and Inspiration. This is episode number, really 3. It's episode number 3 because we did the first one, then we did the special with the Big Native Instruments and MPC joint collab, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the show also. But then also, then this will be number 3. And today it's all about what, Kerry? What are we talking about today?
We are talking about all-time greatest producers or best producers. One of my favorite subjects.
All-time greatest producers and production. I think we have to start with this, like kind of giving the line and kind of giving the introduction of what you really feel like a producer is. What would you define as a producer? Because I think it's different between a producer, a beat maker, you know what I'm saying, engineer, blah, 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 blah. So what would you define as actually being a producer?
A producer I would define as somebody who oversees the entire project from beginning to end. Not necessarily the person that makes the beat or a beat maker, but a person who selects the engineer, who selects the beat to use, that selects the guest vocalist, if there are any, selects the subject matter for the song, selects the flow of the song, things like that. So I think the person who kind of spearheads that will be considered a producer. Now, if we want to use examples, probably one of the best examples of a producer, by definition of what I'm thinking of, is like Quincy Jones.
Okay.
Because I mean, he oversaw everything from who the bass player was, who the background vocalist was. He picked the songs, things like that. So he wasn't necessarily the person that was playing the instruments, but he was the person that oversaw the entire process from beginning to end. So that's my definition of what a producer is.
Okay.
As opposed to just I won't say just a beat maker. I'll say as opposed to a beat maker.
Okay. What would you define as a beat maker? I'm just interested, just for those paying attention.
Beat maker, let's say, I'm trying to think of an example of a person who's a great beat maker. You know who's a great beat maker that might surprise a lot of people because now he's kind of like a love and hip hop star, whatever. But Stevie J, you familiar with Stevie J?
Yeah, I definitely love Stevie J.
Yeah. Stevie J is he's an excellent beat maker. He might not be like the greatest producer, but he's like an excellent beat maker. Now, Even though now we have to separate, for what I'm about to say, we have to separate the man from the art. But Puffy is a great, phenomenal producer.
All right, so we're gonna get into the list in a second, and I do.
Okay.
I think, but I'm glad you brought the caveat up, and to kind of give that disclaimer to say, okay, wait a minute, before we get in it, we're talking strictly on music right now. We're not talking lifestyle. We're not talking about, because we got a couple of people on this list that people are like, oh, how can y'all put them on there because of some of the actions that they did outside of music, right? Off the
Right.
court of music, but what they've done, we're talking strictly artistic value in what they brought to the art form of music, and not what they did on the outside of music and their lifestyle and how they lived their life. You know what I'm saying? Because we can't determine how people live. We can just determine with the music that we
Right.
like. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I'm glad you brought that up about the caveat of what it is, and a lot of people, because when you see a lot of people say production or producers, a lot of people think they have to be the one sitting behind the keyboard, or they have to be the one at the beat machine, or they have to be the one to legitimately make the track or play the track.
Right.
But you're saying the overall definition of a producer is not one that necessarily has to make the beat, or the person that play the track or anything like that.
Right. And I'll give you a perfect example, and this is going old school, so forgive me if I'm going back too far, or you can stop me if I'm going back too far. Michael Jackson's song, "Human Nature," right? One of his most popular songs. Quincy Jones is listed as the producer. However, it's a guy by the name of Jeff Porcaro who actually came up with the beat and the song, actually. But Quincy got a hold of the song and said, okay, change this instrument to this. Let's get this person on here to play the percussion. Let's get, instead of using this word, because I think it was called something else. I don't even think it was called Human Nature when they first got the song. So Jeff Porcaro would have been considered a beat maker, but Quincy Jones overall would have been considered the producer. If we want to bring it a little bit more current, let's bring it up to the 2000s at least, because I'm going back to the
Okay,
80s.
got you.
You look at I'm trying to think of one that's a good example of something that's up to the 2000s. Somebody that's a beat maker, Dr. Dre. All right, I got a perfect one.
You got to say Dr. Dre's a producer. I can't let you get right.
Oh, no. But hold on.
Okay.
Hear me out.
All right, I got you.
Scott Storch and Dr. Dre.
I got you. That's a perfect example. I'm with you. I'm 110 down with you. Yes, I'm with you on that. Okay.
Now, and then I'll even give you a song, "Cry Me a River" by. No, I'm sorry. Go back. That's somebody different. That
was Scott Storch and Timbaland, right?
Timbaland.
Right.
Okay, let's use that as an example. Let's use that. Scott Storch actually made the beat.
Mm-hmm.
He made the beat of "Cry Me a River." So in that instance, he was the beat maker. Timbaland was the one who selected the song, selected the how the background vocal should do. He added the beatbox to it and stuff like that. So he oversaw the entire project. However, Scott Storch in that instance was the beat maker, but Timbaland is listed as the producer. You know what I mean? And we're using the word beat maker, but beat maker and writer are the same thing. So Scott Storch was a writer on the track. Timbaland was the producer on the track. So beatmaker and writer are kind of the same thing. But if you go into people like, let's say, I'm trying to think of somebody else who does both. Somebody like Swiss Beats. That's a good example. Swiss Beats, he physically makes the beat and he physically oversees the process. So Swiss Beats would be considered as a producer and a beat maker. A lot of times, not all the time, Dr. Dre is considered as a producer and beat maker. Most of the time, Dr. Dre is a producer.
Right.
Because if we go back to the Snoop Dogg's Doggy Style album, a lot of that stuff, Dr. Dre the beats he actually didn't make per se. If you look at like Gin and Juice, I don't even think he made Gin and Juice. If I'm not mistaken, I think Daz made Gin and Juice. But Dr. Dre will say, okay, Snoop, these words need to go on this beat. This needs to be the chorus. We're going to get this guy here to play the bass. I'm going to mix and engineer it and get it to sound the way it's supposed to sound. You know what I mean? So and I forgot I'm going off topic, but yeah, just to distinguish again,
Beat
distinguish
makers
the
versus
difference between
producers. I agree with you.
right,
I think when you're talking about production and producers actually, I say, hey, use the terminology, define it. Producers actually create something. They make sure you have a product at the end of the day. So
right,
the responsibility of having a product normally falls on the producer. Now, how that product comes to fruition, you can have beat makers, you can have instrumentalists. I think even in the Cryman River, Timbaland played the beat, and I think it was Scott Storch, but I heard Ty Trippey played on that album also. But he had different
okay,
instrumentalists to play on that. Now, there are times that instrumentalists get production credits. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
And we're not talking about
Mm-hmm.
as in credits, right? So, because I think we have to, make sure that we put everything in. We know the terminology, guys. We get some comments saying,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, this." We know the terminology. We know we know what we're saying. But I'm just saying, we're just saying as an overall situation and producing what I think what you're saying in the whole as overall and producing a product. That's when we're talking about a producer, right? And it does not matter
Right,
if you actually create the beat yourself, if you're the instrumentalist on the product, or if you're the singer or songwriter. The overall person that is responsible for making sure there is a product at the end of whatever it is at the end of the collaboration is what we're talking about when we say producers. That's why we can put
right.
somebody like Quincy Jones up there and say Quincy Jones probably. Let's go and get to the list. And for me, he's
Mm-hmm.
my number one, right? So
Okay,
all right, so to me, the list Quincy Jones is probably my number one when we talk about producers. He's probably my number one because at the end of the day, who else embodied coming out and making something, starting something from scratch and coming out with something that impacted the entire world for
right.
40, 50 years now? And he worked in pretty much every genre. Thank you guys so much for watching SBI Synthesizers Beats and Inspirations, man. We're talking about, it's all about producers today, all about productions today. We thank you guys for joining us. I'm King David Jordan. I'm here with super producer Carrie Haynes over here, sync licensing maestro. But we talk about Christian Jones. He's somebody that actually produced something that has projects that have impacted the world 10 times over
Even
now.
till this day,
Right.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, just because what he's done, it'll impact for years to come. Because people still talk about Thriller, but Thriller is how old?
That's like 40 years
40
ago.
plus
Yeah.
years old, but we're still talking about it. You know what I mean? Like, I still listen to Thriller. You know what I mean? And I think, and the crazy part is, even my 8-year-old son, he listens to Thriller. He knows the song, so his impact as a producer will be felt for an eternity. Probably is my guess.
Right. So is he your
Mm.
number one also? Is he your number one on your list so far?
I can't put him at the top.
Oh wow. Okay. So let's get into it. Let's go get into it. But I think that's a great example for us to say, okay,
Mm.
here's the that's a great example for us to start and say, okay, he's a prime example of what we're saying when we're defining what a producer is. He's a
Producer,
great example when we say what we're saying, what we mean when we say producer, because we don't want people to get the conversation conflated. We wanted to be precise in our conversation and say, all right, this is what we mean when we say these are our top producers. You know what I'm saying?
right,
So that's what
right.
we mean when we say that. So we're just giving the guidelines and the standards of what we're going by when we make
Mm.
these with these guys. All right, so who you got? Who's your number one, Carrie? If it's not
You
Quincy,
know, if I tell you who my number one is, people are gonna hate me and probably turn your show off.
so you don't want to do it in any type of order.
No, we don't have to. But
Okay, okay.
but if I have to go with my top,
It's
is
it's your opinion. Screw them. If they don't like the opinion, let them come into the comment
it,
section. Y'all tell us what if we're right. Y'all let us know if we're right or wrong. But this is our opinion.
if
Stay on your opinion. It's our opinion. It's
if
your expertise and
if
your
I had
opinion.
to go to top producers, I would say Sean Puffy Combs is my top. Yeah,
Really?
see, yeah.
I'm,
I knew I was gonna get that
I'm
reaction.
not mad. I'm not. Listen. Let me say this. I'm not. You know what? A lot of people, and I've said over, like we said at the top of the show, we're not talking about lifestyles. Now we're not talking about baby oil. We're talking about
Mm.
music, right? So we're
Yes.
But I have to. A lot of people, because of his lifestyle, is trying to discredit what Sean Combs has done in the music
Mhm.
industry. Why is he? Why
Mhm.
would you consider him your number one producer?
The reason why I consider him number one, if you look at his overall catalog, right? You look at, because you have to include Mary J. Blige in there. You have to include Notorious Big in there. You have to include Mason there. You have to include uh I'm losing my train of thought. You have to
Biggie, you gotta
include
get Big,
to-
Biggie. Yeah.
Total. You have to include. It's so many names. Even you have to even put Missy Elliott in there because he
Okay.
did a couple of things for. No, I'm sorry. He did a song with Missy Elliott for somebody else.
Mm.
But the reason why I say Puffy, because if you just look at the overall impact he's had as a producer, is just in the quality of the music. If you take a song, let's say Hypnotize, right? Let's say
Okay.
Hypnotize by Notorious B.I.G. Hypnotize came out in 1997, right? Hypnotize still bangs today the same way that it did in 97. No, let me ask you this. You can tell me the truth. Have you ever heard Hypnotized by Biggie and said, I don't like it or I don't want to hear this anymore? Or
Oh
do
no.
you listen to it when you hear
Oh no. I definitely listen to it. I'm grabbing. I'm bouncing. I'm bobbing to it.
it?
Definitely all of that.
Right, right. So to have that kind of impact and to be able to produce something like that, and he didn't physically make the beat himself, but he told them, because I've seen the story of how they came up with it. He
Mm.
told them, he said, "Look, use this record, sample this record, and we're going to take this hook from here, and Biggie, I want you to rap about this." Because I don't think Big even wanted to do Hypnotize.
Mm.
But you take those elements together, and then, like you said earlier, you get a product together, and you have this song that lasts the test of time. But look how many other songs he did that are like that. You look at Hypnotize, you look at More Money, More Problems, you look at Juicy, you look at Can't You See by Total, you look at Real Love by Mary J. Blige, you look at You Remind
Jodeci.
Me,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, Jodeci, stuff like that. So that's why I say he's my top, just because he's been able to, number one, transcend, and the stuff that was put out, especially during that Bad Boy era. When Bad Boy was out, they ran everything. Everything was Bad Boy. Everything was Bad Boy. So that's why I say, you know, I put him at my top. Now, mind you, again, to anybody who's watching, his actions now, or things that we're seeing, are deplorable. But I'm just talking about strictly just what he contributed to the culture. So I mean, that's why I say, like, he's my number one. Right there with him is Dr. Dre. Right there with Puff, I will put Dr. Dre at the top as far as contributions to the culture, as far as things that he's done and things that he's brought to hip hop.
So you all right? So is it the 1A, 1B, or is it? You said Puppy first, so I'm trying. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You
I,
said you said Diddy first, so I'm just saying, like, is it Diddy first, or did Dre, or is it the other way around? You know what I'm saying?
I'm
Trying to
I'm gonna
figure
I'm gonna stick to my gun to say it's still Puffy first,
out. Okay,
Dre second.
okay.
Dre is a close second. I'm not saying, it's a big space between, but Dre is a close second. But I put Puff Daddy at the top.
That is interesting. You said I mean, no. I like it. Let me first say this. I mean, I'm not. Hey, is your thoughts, your perception, what it is? Um,
Yeah,
you talk about Sean Puffy calls. One
but we can
of
move
the
on though. We can move on to somebody
no,
else.
like I said, like you know, you know, he's an American icon, man. Entrepreneur, founder of Bad Boy Records, produced for artists such as Notorious B.I.G., Mary J. Blige, other the lots, himself. Biggest record was biggest hits includes I'll Be Missing You, Can't Nobody Hold Me Down, More Money, More Problems, 3 Grammy Awards, Best Rap Album, No Way Out, Grammy, and also his influence in hip hop culture, and not just the music, but the culture as a whole, is undeniable. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
even if we're just talking about, like we said, we're not talking about lifestyles outside of the industry. We're talking strictly about the industry and music and what it is. And so for him to be your number one is I mean, it's a good choice. It's not a bad choice. Honestly, I think if you take away and I got a lot of opinions on that, but I ain't gonna go there. But I think if you take
Mm.
away, the outside stuff and what's going on now, his current legal issues,
Yeah.
and some of the things that we've seen, and the videos that are horrendous and that we know this show does not 0% condone. Um, if you take that outside and just look at the music and what he's done and the influences of what he does, I hear people all the time say there's a thin line between uh of
The genius and
genius and
like
insanity, right? Yeah.
yeah.
So like
Yeah.
it's a thin line. So but I have to agree, if you look at the impact that he had, especially coming through the late 90s, 2000s, and 2000, and 2010s, even really up to, I mean, Off the Grid was a Grammy nomination. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
It's a Grammy
That
nominee.
was
Like
that was his last one, right?
the last record. Yeah, Off the Grid was a Grammy nominee. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mm.
it's not too, you can't, the impact's there, man.
Yeah.
It's there. Like, you can try to deny it, but it's there. Like, and we're talking strictly
So,
music. I think that's a good selection. I think that's a good selection. He's not my number one, but I think that's a good selection.
and I was going to ask you, who's your number two then?
Well, you know who my number one is.
Quincy Jones, right?
Quincy Jones is my number one because
Mm.
you're talking almost 60 years of influence. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
From the when you look at Quincy Jones and the accolades of Quincy Jones, it's a long red list, and I think he's the pioneer. So I think in order to legitimately um, start, you have to start with the pioneer, the foundation of who really made. I think he really made production, being a producer, executive producer albums, and making sure that you was right. I think he was the blueprint that led to people like Dr. Dre, that led to people like Sean Puffy Combs and different things like
Mm.
that. So when you're talking about somebody like this, and somebody who God rest his soul, who spanned decades of impact,
Mm.
and then
Mm.
also made what many considered possibly a perfect album,
With Thriller,
Thriller.
you mean?
You're in
Mm.
Thriller, and then one that was almost perfect. A lot of people feel like it's perfect. We're Off the Wall too. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And then
Mm.
another classic and Bad. Like you're
Mm.
talking a run that's just undeniable, and a
Mm.
person that's really behind the music, that's responsible for the biggest pop icon of all time, in Michael Jackson.
Mm.
Who was on that the way to becoming that, but he needed an assistant. He sought after Quincy Jones, and Quincy Jones was at that time, some of the things that he had done, the and even in the sync licensing field with the
Yeah, with his soundtracks and stuff. With his
right,
soundtracks, he scored a bunch of movies. I don't think a lot of people know that.
right,
He
the
scored
Wizard of
Roots.
Oz,
You know,
um the Oz, I'm sorry,
the,
also he did
he
the
did Roots, Color Purple.
right. I think a lot
Um,
of people don't know he did the Fred Sanford thing. That's
yeah, yeah,
that's Quincy Jones. So
yeah.
like the impact that over music production as a whole, and then especially the impact that he made in different ways that we are making music as music producers. When you
Mm.
talk about sync licensing, when you're talking about composing, when you're talking about executive producing and producing, and also
Mm.
being a musician, and he checks off all those boxes. So
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Also mixing and mastering. Also
Mm.
being
Right.
responsible for making sure the mixes and the masters are right. I think he checked out.
Right.
He checks all those boxes, and to be that incredible, he's my number one.
Mm.
Number
Yeah.
two, Probably for me,
I think I know who you're gonna say, but I just want to see if I'm right.
I guess I let you know.
Who do I guess?
Yeah.
Timberland.
No, I'm with you.
Oh,
My number two is your number two. It's Dr. Dre.
okay.
Dr.
Yeah.
Dre. And then the
Okay.
same
Yeah.
thing.
No.
Why is Dr. Dre your
mm.
number two? Why is he one of the greatest to you?
Um, number one, the thing that makes Dr. Dre special is that he grew, he developed. We saw him develop. So if you go back to Straight Outta Compton album, the NWA stuff, at the time when that album came out, the production that he was doing was off the charts. And we're
Mhm.
talking late 80s, this was. The production that he did for NWA, Eazy-E, and the DOC. You know, all the music that we couldn't listen to as church kids, that stuff. Because
First of all, I couldn't listen to it. You had everything when you came out.
I
When you
couldn't
came
listen
out,
to it either.
wait a
I
minute. When
had
we
to
came to
sneak
Ridge,
and
you
listen
was the
to
one that
it.
introduced me to NWA and the Dr. Dre and all that
I
stuff.
was sneaking listening to it. I was sneaking listening to it.
You had the albums. What are you talking about? You had the albums.
I I snuck and got it. Like I had somebody to dub it for me.
Wow. Okay.
You know, Olivia and Naomi were not going to let me go buy no
Oh no,
NWA
definitely not that.
tape.
Definitely not that.
That was not going to happen.
Definitely not that. Definitely not that.
But well, to get back to the comment, I'm sorry I got off topic. But if you look at NWA, the production for NWA, the production for Eazy-E, the production for DOC, and the production for even Michelle A. You know, because he was doing R&B tracks back then in the late '80s for Michelle A. So you see that form of Dre, and then you move up to the G-Funk era, which sounds completely different than how NWA sound.
Mm-hmm.
So then he shapes the G-Funk sound. And then now you go from the G-Funk sound and then you move up to the Chronic 2. You know what I mean? Because Chronic and Doggy Style, those two albums right there, they pretty much crafted the West Coast sound in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was following that sound. Everybody was trying to sound like Dr. Dre around that time. But then you move forward, then he switched to when he did Mary J. Blige's Family Affair. That string section, how he had those strings and those horns and them booming drums. That's another version of him. You know what I mean? So if you look at how he started off in NWA, and then how he did G-Funk, and then how he moved up to doing the orchestra type music, that's something I studied as a music composer. Like that's how I got on. One of the first beats that I landed on TV was a Dr. Dre type beat. It was like a beat that sounded like a orchestral Dr. Dre beat.
Mm-hmm.
And then you move up to even him getting, even though it's not nothing to do with music, but even him getting into the Beats headphones. You know what I mean? That's another thing that he did that a lot of people weren't doing. You know what I mean? There weren't a lot of producers trying to get an actual product that represented them like the Beats headphones did. Everybody had Beats headphones. I didn't have them because at the time I couldn't afford them. And when I could afford them, they wasn't cool no more. Anyway, I digress. And so then you go from the Beats headphones and then you go up to where he is now, which if you listen to the Missionary album that just came out with him and Snoop, the production on that is phenomenal.
It's phenomenal. Like
it's just some of the best music that I've heard in a long time.
Oh, it's definitely phenomenal. It's extremely good, very good.
Yeah.
Like I think people, I think the younger crowds are always trying to this and blah 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 blah. But at the end of the day, if you really listen to that and you pay attention as a producer, as an engineer, as a person that really studies music and understands music, that joint's phenomenal. It was phenomenal. It's phenomenal. It really was a masterclass in production. It really was.
Yeah.
It was a masterclass because he hit different genres. He really hit different time dispensations. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's just the engineering and the mastering, the sonic quality of it it was just a masterclass at what it is. And I think a lot of times we diss producers and people, especially now, everybody's so old and it's too old, blah 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 blah, right? But then we learned that Quincy Jones made Thriller, and he was what in his
He
50s,
was
right? 50s or
he
60s.
was 50 at the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. He's in his
Yep.
50s when he made Thriller, the greatest album considered of all time. And is when we start looking at these situations and we start really paying attention and seeing people when they hit their stride. I think sometimes we diss people because the young generation is so hungry and they want to get in their spot right now. And it's like, wait a minute, young buck, take some time, listen to what's going on, follow what's going on, and when your time comes, it's gonna be your time. You know what I'm saying? And I think now, especially in hip hop and the genre hip hop, R&B, and urban music and rhythmic, I think we a lot of times try to skip over and go, oh, they're too old, or this is old, or blah 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 blah. And it's like, nah, man,
Right.
like these people are seasoned and have something that we can learn from and take from. And if you listen to that album and you was like, oh, this is whack, like I just really have to question your musical acclimate and your musical taste. But everybody's, you're you're allowed that, but you know what I'm saying, from a professional standpoint, it's how I understand.
Yeah, I mean,
but,
I mean that was a undeniable. I mean, it just made me, even after listening to it, it made me want to work harder in my music after I heard it, because I was like, good God, like I just kept every cut. I just kept listening to it. I'm like, oh man, like so
definitely
yeah.
I think the reason Dre's my number two, but behind Quincy, also for me it's longevity also. And then we showed the picture. If I could put that picture back up, we showed the picture of Dre over what I feel like in scripture we say dispensations in the church and dispensations, but it's definitely different iterations of Dre's production life. So you had what you said, the start where he was doing more the P funk. Well, he still does funk, but I'm saying like he had the start where the NWA with the hard beats and it was very crash and very different. And then you saw like the more polishing, the older he got. He came with the Death Row, with the
once he got to Death Row, it got way more polished. I think that's when he first started using live instruments. When he
right,
started doing the G funk.
right. So when he came to Death Row and you heard that, they became super duper polished. Even the one of my favorite productions of all time is California Love. That joint there is just amazing. That's just amazing music,
Yeah.
and how that's put together is just phenomenal. Then when you get the aftermath with the stuff he did with Slim Shady, the stuff it's just different levels, and you can just see the growth, continued growth. Even to, like we just talked about Missionary, how phenomenal that was. It's just continued growth. And I think when you have that longevity and you're able to dip and dab into different genres, you're able to dip and dab into different it didn't matter what age groups or whatever. When you're talking about Kendrick Lamar, he was a part of the Pimp a Butterfly, his first records. You're talking about influence, and you're talking about somebody. So when I'm talking about Dr. Dre, I say greatness personified. That's why I kind of put him over my number three. Who you got number three, Kerry?
My number three, I would have to say, is and it's a tie too. I hate to keep having these ties because there's two people that I have in mind. I'll just say who I think. Timbaland.
Okay.
Is my number three, but right there with Timbaland is Teddy Riley.
Oh.
Like now, this is when we could debate. Like, no, if you had to pick one of the two, who would you take?
That's tough.
That's right. It's tough, but it's just like the impact. I'll start with Timbo. The impact that Timbo had was just insane. Like I think I speak for everybody. Like we had never heard a producer like that ever. When he came out, we were like, "What in the hell is this? Like, what are you doing?"
That's what.
So, I mean, if you go to even One in a Million, the Aaliyah song, the beat just sounds so different and weird. It was just like, what is? But it made sense though,
Yeah.
And that was just his R&B stuff. But then when you get to the hip hop stuff that he did, like the stuff that he did with Jay-Z and Big Pimpin' and Hey Poppy and uh Jigga What Jigga Who, all that stuff he did for Jay-Z, it's just like, this man, he kind of can do everything. And that was just like his first, kind of like Dr. Dre. That was just like the first version of himself. And then you come back, and then he gets to the Justin Timberlake, the pop scene when he started doing Justin Timberlake and Nelly Furtado. All of those songs sound completely different than when he first came out. You know what I mean? So it's just, again, it's just very difficult because you want to, like, I want to, Teddy Riley has some stuff too, but then like when you look at the impact of Timbaland, it's just like, and Timbaland is still having a lot of impact. You know what I mean? He's still, to me, he's still relevant. You know what I mean? He's still relevant.
Oh yeah, so, definitely. He's one of, all right. So I'm with you. I will agree. I'm going to give him the slight edge. I'm going to get Timbaland. He's my number 3 too. So far we lined up except for the number ones, right? So
right.
Your number one would probably be like, we'll probably interchange our number ones, right? Okay, I'm gonna tell you why I said it was a rough. I'm gonna tell you why I say it was a rough decision. Why I'm probably gonna get the edge to Timbaland right now. I think the thing with Timbaland and Teddy Riley is this, right? Which we all know Timbaland is a derivative of Teddy Riley. You know what I'm saying? So he comes from that,
right?
You know, and it's kind of on that lifeline of Teddy Riley, the DNA of Teddy Riley. What I'm saying is the reason I'm kind of with you, and the reason why both of them is such a close thing as producers for me, the reason it's such a close thing is this: they both created a style. You know what I'm saying? That was impactful. Teddy Riley had the New Jack Swing that everybody stole. You know, people was stealing the New Jack Swing and left and right? The New Jack Swing, which I just learned that had to do with the swing function created by Roger Lynn and stuff like that. So that was crazy, right? So that was wild. But then Timbaland created a sound that everybody stole too. You know what I'm saying? When he did that triple with the drum stutter, the triple drum stutter with the boot, like everybody changed to do that joint. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, I mean, dog. Every beat I was making when I first started making beats had that.
Yup.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it changed music. It changed how people did. The hi-hat rolls that Timbaland was doing at the time. It changed, it gave way to Metro Boomin's hi-hats. You know, it changed or Lex Luthor's hi-hats. It changed the way we did music and the way we start producing music. It was like, yo, this is different. This is different.
Yeah.
And then bringing in different sounds. You know, I think honestly, I'm gonna be real. Now, this is gonna sound very, very crazy, right? Even though I actually think Timbaland probably is the father of modern music production. You know what I'm saying? As in,
that's not far-fetched.
You know, as sounds different, being very creative, kind of changing the tempos and the hi-hats and the drums and the cadences being different. You kind of got to give that to Tim and saying, okay, Tim, I'm with you. That's a strong number 3. I'm with you on that. Strong number 3.
And another thing he did, he was one of the first hip hop R&B people to sample world music, to sample music from India, to sample music from wherever the hell he got his stuff from. You know what I mean? You're bound to hear an instrument from anywhere on one of his beats.
Right.
So, and I think he made it okay. He gave it the okay to go do that. It's like, okay, you could put a Asian record with the hip hop beat. You know what I mean? I think he gave the okay to kind of not to limit yourself into a box as far as your creativity.
Right.
You know, so no,
that's
I definitely.
Now you know that's my guy because you know that's where King Joe comes from. They you know said it's the Timbo because the King Joe comes from Timbo, so you know that's my guy. They actually used to get on to me. They used to say call me Baby Timbo because I like when I said I studied and tried to be like. It took me a while to find my own production voice, but for a long time that was the basis of how I was trying to produce it was because of Timbaland. So Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely that.
same here.
Definitely that. But all right, so I think next you're gonna go Teddy Riley after Timbo.
Yeah, Teddy Riley, I would say just because of, like you said, with the impact of New Jack Swing, he changed over the years too because he started with New Jack Swing. Well, he started with New Jack Swing, but then he did the Michael Jackson project, which
Which
was
is
pretty much a
really
New Jack
different.
Swing project too. Now that I think about it, um, and then he did the stuff for SWV. Well, he did that one remix for SWV that was just like
Amazing.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people know this. He did. You remember a song called "The Show" by
Yeah.
Dougie Fresh
Yeah, yeah,
on the
yeah,
way to heaven?
yeah.
Heaven. He did that. That was like one of his
That's a
first records.
that's a classic.
And the stuff that he did for Keith Sweat, "Make It Last Forever," and "Just Got Paid." I'm trying to think. It's so much stuff that he did that was like New Jack Swingy. So I put him in there because, like you kind of touched on previously, what Teddy did kind of led up to what Timbaland started doing, and which is a great segue to my number four.
Okay. All right.
All right, my number four. You might agree with me, you might not. My number four is the Neptunes. It's my number four. You got to look at the impact.
I'm listening. I got you. I got you. Go.
All right, so if you Neptunes hit probably what 99, 2000,
All right.
and when they hit. Like every track on the radio was a Neptunes joint. And again, it was that situation where people started changing their style to sound like what the Neptunes sounded like. And then also too, they grew into doing stuff for Justin Timberlake, Khalees. They produced the Madonna album. I don't think a lot of people even knew that.
Yeah.
The I
Gwen
was about to say Alan.
Stefani. Yeah.
Yeah,
Lisa.
yeah, so I mean, they had a huge impact, and their beats was on point. I'm not gonna lie. Is if you even till this day, if you listen to if Usher, "You Don't Have to Call" comes on,
That's
I will
amazing.
listen to that song.
All day.
That beat for "You Don't Have to Call" was just like,
All
damn,
day.
like, ugh.
That's great.
So I put them at my number four. How they sound now, I'm not too thrilled about how they sound currently,
Are they making
but
music still? Are they still making music?
uh, Pharrell is. I don't
Okay.
know. I don't know what Chad is doing.
Last thing
But
I heard of Chad, the last thing I saw Chad, he was still producing. I know
mm,
he had a beat pack come out with Splice. That was a few years ago though. Maybe a couple of years he
mm,
came out with a beat pack with Splice.
mm.
But I think he is still producing still. I think they're both still working on music. I know Pharrell now is doing more fashion. He's doing the big thing in fashion now. So shouts out to
We
them.
don't want to talk. We don't want to talk about that. But
Shouts out to him for doing fashion. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Pharrell doing fashion, man. Shout out Pharrell, man. Don't forget about the music,
uh,
Pharrell. What he said? Don't forget about the music. I just said, don't forget about the music, Pharrell. Don't forget about the music, baby. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we love
I'm
you.
gonna keep my mouth shut about some of the pictures I didn't see. But
Oh,
but when they were a duo, and back when they hit, they were unstoppable. Like I put them at number four just because they just had such an impact with all the records they had out with Jay-Z, Mystical, Britney Spears, like you said, Gwen Stefani. It's just like so many people that they work with. They did a song for Babyface. Like, come on now. Anytime a producer comes looking for you to produce for them, then you know you good. You know
that's
what I
facts.
mean? Yeah. So
My
who
number
you got for
four.
number four?
My number four is another one. Like I want to say this again. It is
Mm,
not. We're not basing this on lifestyle. We're not basing this on lifestyle. I'm basing this on impact of R&B and hip hop music.
mm.
The king of R&B, and I'm not talking ribs and barbecue. None other than Kale's Mr. R. Kelly. Because R.
You-
Kelly is
I
he
have
didn't
to agree
miss.
with
He
you.
didn't miss. He didn't
I
miss. But
have
like
to agree with you.
he didn't
R. Kelly
miss.
was that ball.
He didn't
He was
miss.
that ball.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean.
He did miss. I think he gets overlooked as a producer and writer because he has so much solo success as an artist, right?
Right.
He has such
Right.
success as an artist that he's overlooked as an artist. I mean, as a producer. But bro, when you talk about R. Kelly changed the way a lot of cats did R&B. A lot of cat songs, like a lot of cats was really busy into doing a lot of harmonies. R. Kelly came in and was like, "Hey man, my chorus is gonna be me singing this," but not a lot of her of them killed his joint. Hey man, and he changed the game. Like, and it was over years, decades that he was impactful. And that's how I'm looking at impact. The music was phenomenal. He was a chameleon in production. Some of the stuff that he produced, we didn't even know he produced. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And some of the greatest songs and ballads, you know what I'm saying, of all time was R. Kelly, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying?
No, I agree. Because if
You
you
know what
look
I'm
at, I go to another point that I just said with the Neptunes and Babyface. Anytime a producer, a person that writes and produces, comes to you for music, then you know you're good. Because if you look at that song "Fortunate" by Maxwell,
amazing.
R. Kelly.
Amazing.
If you look at "You Are Not Alone" by Michael Jackson,
R.
R.
Kelly,
Kelly.
amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You know what I mean?
I think
So
people look at this as another one where it may be a little it's genius is, you know, borderline to insanity, you know what I'm saying? That could possibly be it. But if we're legitimately talking about, hey man, who's one of the top producers? A lot of people say he's one of the top writers. Nah, man, are you talking about production and writing and the whole 10? You got to put Kells in the top 10. I know you might not like it, you may hate it, you might think that is messed up, but it's undeniable that R. Kelly for 30 years is holding, for 20 years, R. Kelly was holding it down for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was an event. You know, when R. Kelly dropped, it was an event. From Step in the Name of the Love all the way down to Honey Love. You know what I'm saying? All the way back to Honey Love. R. Kelly was amazing. I know a lot of people, we lost like a couple of viewers when we put the picture up, but let's call it fade to fade, people. Let's call it. We keeping it honest. We said, don't hide. You can disagree with us in the chat, and we do have a lot of chat. We got a lot of chat.
and I will say, like with R. Kelly was my soundtrack through high school. He was my soundtrack through college. He was my soundtrack when I was like a young adult, when Step in the Name of Love and the Chocolate Factory and all that other stuff came out. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, he impacted a lot. Wait, R. Kelly is Southern. I'm reading the comment.
Yeah, R. Kelly is Southern Soul, starting with Step in the Name of Love, and Happy People. And you know, Southern Soul is kind of, especially in the South. Shout out to Earl. What's up, Easy? Hey, Easy is the one. Hey, Carrie, Easy is the one I was telling you about that gave me the Southern Soul assignment, and I'm like, no, not giving it up. I'll put that out ever. Easy, I was telling the truth. I was reaching out to other producers to be like, what should I do? This sounds like trash right now. You know what I'm saying? I said, hey, it was so bad, Carrie. I just said, you know what? I'm just gonna work on my album. I ain't even trying to. I said, let me get my album done because it was taking away too much from my album. Because I was just like, God, I gotta figure this out. You know what I'm saying? Like where it sounds good. And it was like, you know what? Well, let me finish my album first, and then I'm gonna I might make a Southern Soul album just to be like, yo, I can do this type of music. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yo, I agree. I think R. Kelly is that guy that persuaded, started movements in genre. You know what I'm saying? And for those who don't know what Southern Soul is, look up your King Georges and you know, your the Easy Harbors, you know what I'm saying? And all those, you know what I'm saying? Look up those guys, and you hear it's a Southern style. We call it in Georgia, we call it juke joint. It's Southern juke joint music down here in Georgia. We call it juke joint music, but it's really Southern soul. It's kind of like Stepping in the Name of Love. It's real Southern based, and it's really popular down south, and it's kind of taking over down south crazy, like real crazy, like super crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But go ahead.
And he even had a gospel album. I think a lot of people don't know that R. Kelly had a gospel album.
Exactly.
That was actually pretty dope.
It was.
You know what I mean?
Yep. He had a song with Kurt Franklin that was number 1.
Yeah. Huh?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, no, I was just gonna say it's sad that he's doing the stuff that he's doing just because I mean, there's no denying his talent. But I mean, yeah, the brother was whoosh, one of the top,
Definitely
one of
him.
the top. All right,
So
so we're going to
so
do.
we got the penitentiary top producers and Diddy and R. Kelly making the top.
That's a shame.
It is,
But
bro.
it's
Like
the truth, though.
who would have thought 20 years? Who would have thought 10 years ago, or 20 years ago, R. Kelly and Diddy would be in jail, like in prison, right? You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
it's like, golly,
yeah,
you know, you never would have thought
yeah.
that 20
It's
years
just
ago.
like
You know what I'm saying? That's crazy.
yeah,
That's
but
crazy. Moving on. Go ahead.
uh,
Go ahead. Let's move on. Let's move on.
all right. So number 5. No, you want to go first with your number 5? Because I've been going first this whole time.
You can continue. We continue. Yeah, I can tell you. Let you go first. I can continue. I can
You
continue.
sure?
Okay.
This one is probably not as much of a shocker,
Okay.
but this is old school producers. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
I'm with you. I'm with
Uh,
you.
They are definitely in
Phenomenal.
the top 5 of producers because if you look at not even just Janet Jackson, that's who they're most famous for is Janet Jackson. But if you look at everybody else that they work with, you know the song, and this is something that a lot of people didn't know. The song "You Remind Me" by Usher. You remind me of a girl. That's Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis produced that,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they won something for that actually.
It might have been a Grammy
But
or Soul Train
yeah, I
Award or
think
something like that. Or something like
it
that.
was something that they won for that song. But I mean, if you look at what they did for Janet Jackson, what they did for uh this is another old school artist, but Alexander O'Neal, he was big like back in the day. Um Tony Braxton that they work with. Just their sound in general has impacted so many different genres, so many different people. But and you know what though, I did find out about them that a lot of people probably don't know, and Jimmy Jam said this recently,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of hurt my feelings when he said it. They don't work together.
Yeah.
Like
I
they
heard
don't
about
do
that.
so.
They do it separately. He might do the beat. The
They
Terry
do it
Lewis do.
separately. I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, huh? Because he was
Yeah.
like, well, Jimmy will do some, and I'll do some, and then we'll just put both of our names on it. But it's just like, and then one might not hear it until it's actually on the radio.
Mm.
And that just like it kind of took away the fantasy a little bit because I thought they was in there with their suits and their black hats and their
Pause.
shades.
Pause. Oh.
Oh, huh? What? What I say?
He said
Uh,
them not being together took away the fantasy a little bit.
no, because that's when I think about it.
I
Like
know.
when
Just
I
pause. Go
think
ahead.
about
Okay.
it,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I see them in the studio with Janet Jackson, both of them sitting there
Mm-hmm.
in a black suit, they shades and they hat, and one on this end of the board and the other one on this end of the board. They just nodding doing this. That's what I think when I see it in my head. But
Yeah.
when they said we do it separately, I'm just like, oh, it's just like, but still, going off topic. But no, yeah, I still think they had a great impact to the music industry there.
No doubt.
The quality of music that they put out was top notch.
Phenomenal.
Yep.
I have to.
Yep.
I probably put them in my number. That's tough. That'd be my top 5. Would be God. I don't know if I had in my top 5. They're definitely my top 10.
I
I
know
don't
you
know.
got a good one for number 5. I know you got a good one for number
I
5.
do have a good one for number 5, but yeah, that's tough though. That's a tough one. I think I'm gonna ride with you on that one. Um,
Really?
yeah, you know why? I'm gonna tell you why.
Mm,
My reasoning is totally different,
mm,
and it wasn't just their music production. Their vocal production was crazy, dog. Like
yeah.
when you listen to Janet's, like Janet's not, to me, she can sing, right? But she's not the greatest singer. But the way
Mm,
the way they lined it up and put the background harmonies over top of hers,
mm,
you know, and the vocal production was amazing. Like it just all around, yeah, the sonic
mm,
nature, the sounds, samples. They were one of the first ones I heard using like samples within their records. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
Um,
yeah.
one of my favorite records. You're gonna laugh when I say it. When people gonna laugh at me when I say this. One of my favorite records. Shout out to J-Rod. J-Rod, I want to shout out to people listening. Rare. What's up, Rare? Shout out Rare on YouTube. Shout out for watching. J-Rod, thank you, sir. So much. Easy. Thank you for so much. Thank you guys so much for watching the show. We appreciate it. If you guys don't mind, we thank you for looking SBI. It's all about producers. Who are our top 10 producers? Let us know in the comment section who your top 10 producers, the top 5 producers, or if you agree with what we're saying, or if you disagree, if you think they're too high, too low, you think it should be a better person in top. We're talking R&B and hip hop now. We deal with R&B, hip hop, urban music. So R&B, hip hop, urban music, top 5, top 10 producers in R&B and urban music. Y'all let us know if we're right, if we off kilter, if we're not. You know what I'm saying? If you agree or you disagree, let us know. We thank you guys so much. And if you don't mind, we need subscribers, right? We're trying to get the page up. Yeah. Make sure y'all hit that like and y'all subscribe to the KDJ World Show.
Like, subscribe.
Like and subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So come on, this is our way of subscribing. So if you don't mind, if you're enjoying the content, you're enjoying the conversation, if you're disagreeing with everything, still hit the like button and subscribe. And we appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. I think Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis is definitely, we're on number 5. Kerry's top 5 so far has been Sean Puffy Combs, number 1. Wow. Number 2 is Dr. Dre.
Yes.
Number 2 is Dr. Dre. Number 3 was who was your number? Timbaland. Timbaland was number 3.
Was number 3.
Number 4, you had Teddy Riley.
Neptune.
No, the Neptunes. Then number 5, you had. I thought you said
Jimmy
Well, that's right, because you had number 3. You had Timbaland and
Timbaland and Teddy Riley.
Teddy Riley at number 3. Right, together. So those are his top 5 right now. His top 5. That's a great top 5. Mine is a little different. My top 5 so far is none other than Quincy Jones. My number 2 is Dr. Dre. My number 3 was Timbaland. My number 4 was R. Kelly. And then my number 5, I do like Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. I like it. My number 5 was Kanye West. I think Kanye West has been like, Kanye West has been like somebody that he's probably one of the most influential persons of our time. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then you look at some of the things that Kanye West has given us. I'm probably gonna go with Kanye West number 5, just off the run that he had. Even if you just look at his first 3 albums, the production of his first 3 albums. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
I think that's a good number 5, just because even looking at his stuff that he did for Jay-Z, he gave Jay-Z some of the best records that Jay-Z had. Right. You know what I mean? And this is in addition to producing for himself. And then he also he crossed over and was doing, he was able to do songs for Alicia Keys, Janet Jackson. He did a couple songs for. I'm trying to think who else. There was a lot of people looking for the Kanye West sound. So yeah, and even the way he sampled records, the way that he manipulated samples was just unheard of at that time, the way he would do it. Because if you listen to, I'm trying to think of a song. What was the one with him and Jamie Foxx?
I know what you're talking about.
Marvin Gaye, Luther Vandross, A Little Anita.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yes.
The way he took the Luther record and flipped it. Like, if you ever listen to the Luther record, the name of the Luther record is called A House Is Not a Home. That's the name of the Luther song. But he took the very last few minutes of that song and just flipped it into something completely different, which is brilliant the way he did it. Yeah.
So I say off of impact, and then also off of just what he impact. I think impact and how he kind of, that soul sample thing, man. I know people were doing it before. Don't get it twisted. But the way that Kanye West is doing the soul samples and the way he did it, he kind of did it in a new way that hadn't, you know what I'm saying, been done like that before. You know what I'm saying? And once again, let us also give, let's make sure that we give the disclaimer one more time that this is not based upon their lifestyles or thoughts. We're talking
Yeah,
strictly
yeah.
music and
The art.
artistry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Strictly music
Based on the
and
art
artistry.
form.
Anything outside of that, we do not like to say
Because most of these people are cuckoo. You know what I mean? But however, they
they're
have
genius at the same
very
time. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so the outside of the artistry, we're not talking about their thought process, their political acclimates, or how they feel and everything, or their whatever they stand on. We're talking strictly about the music and artistry, and you can't say for a while there that Kanye West is probably the most influential person, probably in 2010s. For he probably had a decade where he was probably definitely
Yeah.
the one. You know what I'm saying? And the
Yeah.
musically, he's definitely the one, and probably most impactful when you look at, like you said, we look at a Jay-Z record, or when you look at some of the things that he was coming out, the Nas record, some of the records that he had that were just unbelievable. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm,
that you just had to be like, yo, that's Kanye. You know what I'm saying? And then we're not
mm,
talking about rappers. I think like just producer. We're talking strictly production, music production. I
mm,
think Kanye West is,
mm,
is is like that. The Jesus Waltz was amazing. That was,
mm,
I
mm.
mean, that was one of the most
And he
epic
was actually
tracks.
an excellent.
Yeah,
He was an excellent rapper too. I know we're not talking about MCs, but I mean, his MC skills wasn't nothing to be played with either.
no, no,
You know
and
what I
I'm not.
mean? So
Yeah,
he was a great rapper at the same time.
so Kanye West would make up my top. Would round up my top five. Then I'd probably go with Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis to go first. Then I'd
Mm,
probably go Jimmy Jam. Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis has produced one of my favorite songs of all time, and that's you gonna laugh. It's funny. You gonna
what's,
laugh when I say it,
what's that?
but it's
All right.
all right by Janet Jackson. It's
No, that song
all
is
right.
dope.
Yo,
Yeah, with Heavy D in
that's
the
one of my
video.
what? That was one of my
Yeah,
favorite records of
yeah,
all time. That's one of my favorite records of all time. All time.
yeah. No,
It
that was
had
the
one of the
joint.
illest, it had one of the illest bridges, especially the remix had one of the illest bridges of all time in the world. So Jim and Terry Lewis definitely rounds off my top, my six. Who you got number six?
Um, you know what? Look at your messages real quick. In,
You talking about on the show or that you sent me?
no, in Messenger, in Messenger.
Okay, all right. I'm going to the messenger. Let me go to the messenger real quick. Okay, let me go. Golly, I got to flip all over here. I got a lot pulled up over here, Karen. You want me to pull up your list in my messenger?
No, just look at your messenger. You'll see it.
Who? Oh, wait. All right. Okay, I got you. All right, who's your last one?
All right. Wait a minute. Hold on. Now I gotta pull my list back out because I had it all written down. Hold on.
Oh man, yeah, we are going. We way past time.
Um, see, it's a person that I want to say, but it's like one that's a producer that's to me is one of the best, but I don't know overall it'll be like one of the all time greats. So I might need to think of another one. Wait, all right. Go first with your number six, and then I have a number six by the time.
All right, so my last one on the list. That's tough. The last one.
Yeah, see,
Wait, let me go look at my list. I think I might just start with the top five. You know what I'm saying?
and then we come back next week.
Yeah, we can do the identify this week. But I would say I haven't done the Neptunes yet, so I'll probably ride with the Neptunes after that.
At number six.
Yeah, that probably ride with the Neptunes. The Neptunes did make my top five. My top. They did make my top five, but I'll put them right outside of number six. I'll put them right outside.
Oh, okay.
I'll put them in
All
Terry Jam, Jim, Terry Lewis, and number six. I'll put them in the Neptunes. Both of them duos. Duos. I'll put them both at number six right there, right outside my top five. Right outside. And oh boy,
Okay.
Alice is gonna be so mad at that. He's gonna be like, for real? Number six. Yeah, man. I gotta jump all the way down to number six. All right, let's go. Let's move on. All right, so we'll come back next show and we'll talk about the next one. So real quick, let's get to it. We've been listening to it, and I've been seeing a couple of producers on YouTube talk about the fact that Boom Bap may be dead. How do you feel about that, being a producer that did the East Coast thing?
I don't think that it's dead necessarily. I think it's just not being pushed by the masses as much. That's why people will say it's dead, because if you take, and I'm trying to think of like some of the current boom bap artists. When you say boom bap artists currently, I think of Dave East. I think of Rhapsody. I think of Benny the Butcher, Griselda, people like that.
Mhm.
They don't push that as much. The masses, they don't push that out towards the consumers as much. So that's why people may say that boom bap is dead, because they push only trap mumble rap. You know what I mean? If I'm just picking a name, Lil Uzi Vert.
Right.
Um,
Love
if
him,
he
love him. By
came
the
out
way,
with
love the music though. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I think like if you're doing mumble rap or the same repetitive trap music, they'll push that. But if you're doing something different, um, like boom bap or something like that, you have to actually go look for it. It's not pushed to you. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like when you turn on the radio, they don't even play boom bap on the radio.
Oh no.
You know what I mean? Huh?
I say, oh no, they don't. They don't.
Yeah, like you would have to go. I think the only, and this is on Sirius XM. I think the only boom bap radio station that there may be is like LL has a radio station called Rock the Bells,
Mhm.
and they play boom bap on there. But even the hip hop radio station on XM is trap music.
Eminem plays
So
sometimes. I think Eminem play a little bit of boom bap.
yeah, yeah, they have
Slim
it on
Shady,
there
Shady
sometimes.
4-5. Yeah.
Yeah, but to answer your question, I mean, yeah, I just think it's not dead. It's not pushed out as much.
I think
What
you know
do
what
you
though?
think about it?
I don't think it's there. I think it goes back to the I kind of blame Kanye West a little bit. And
Mm.
the reason
Why are
I
you
say
blank?
because he
Because he
took the
went cuckoo.
no, not at all. No, no.
Oh,
He did something interesting. And
mm.
you know, if you really study hip hop and you really study, Kanye West is a trendsetter when it comes to hip hop, right? You know what I'm saying? Like we
Yes.
thought auto tune was dead until he came with 808s and beats and 808s, right? Heartbreaks and 808s,
Mm.
and then he's like, oh, it's
Mm.
like auto tune blows up and goes crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
he started taking the drums out of the soul samples.
He
So
did.
right,
He
so
did.
like if you really start paying attention to that, he took the drums, what would normally be a boom bap kind of drum with the soul samples,
Mm.
he took it out,
Mm.
right?
Right.
And then people start putting trap beats on over soul samples and then stuff like that, which kind of hurt the normal boom bap, you know, syncopation of beat making that happened. And I think that
Mm.
caused a little transformation in it. Now, we'll see what happens. The new Wu-Tang is about to drop. They're working on a new Wu-Tang
Mm.
album. You got some
Mm.
old, you know, some of the older artists are dropping classics and great records too. And then the younger artists are still doing it. I don't think it's dead. I think that, you know, it's just like anything else. Time changes. It may have lost some popularity, but it always rolls back around. Just like 80s music and 80s pop, it rolled back around and everybody's like, oh, this cool
Mm.
again. It's gonna always roll
Mm.
back around and it's gonna become what it is. But I think really talk when we really talk about if it's Boom Bap Dead, you kind of have to throw some, you kind of I once again, he's my top five, he's in my top five. But it was really Kanye West that came out and was like, all right, cool, I'm gonna do the soul sample, but I'm gonna take the beat out of it. And I think
No,
that,
I think that's
you know,
no,
that
that's
kind of,
that's true.
you know what
That's
I'm
true
saying?
because I think he started. He took the beat out, and then when they came out with what was that album that him and Jay-Z had together?
Watch the
Uh,
Throne.
Watch the Throne. Watch the Throne had soul samples on it, but there was a lot of trap beats underneath the soul samples,
Right. Yep.
like you just said.
Right.
You know, so yeah, I think you're on to something, and that kind of once Kanye started using the, like you said, stopped using the drums, that kind of made it more popular, more mainstream. So it makes it harder now to go back to the way boom bap actually was. Because I still listen to boom bap. I'll be honest with you, I still listen to
Of
mostly 90s
course.
boom bap.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
know, but yeah, I don't think it's necessarily dead, but I do think that it's not pushed out as much. You know what I mean? It's not enough because like now it's like how they always say is like sex, drugs, and rock and roll. There's not a lot of sex in boom bap. but it's a lot of sex and trap music. You know what I mean? So I think that's what sells, and they're not gonna push anything that doesn't make them money.
Right. And I think that's
You
the
know what I
thing
mean?
too. But then too, I think the consumer, if you're a lover of boom bap, you got to support it, right? And then too,
Mm,
I think also when you look at streaming and different things in that nature, what I was gonna say, also when you look at how music has changed and streaming and things of that nature, it kind of hurt because the basis of a lot of boom bap um was actually streaming. It was actually records, tapes,
mm,
and the foundation of that. But now you have streaming and
mm,
different things going on like that. So it's interesting to see how it's going to change. You know what I'm saying? Or
mm.
how stuff changes. So I think that's happening. I don't think it's dead. I think it actually come back and make a it actually is there. But then I think producers have to use it. And like I said, I think the beat being going kind of hurts it. So brace me. Let's go ahead and go to our last topic before we get out of here. Thank you guys so much. Make sure y'all hit the like, subscribe. The numbers have been going crazy. They've been fluctuating, but we appreciate each and every one of you guys for coming. And make sure you hit the thumbs up. Everybody hit the like button, thumbs up, like, follow on X. Hit the like button and the thumbs up and the heart buttons on Facebook. DJ Skills, hold on, let's see what DJ Skills said. DJ Skills said, get this up, see if I can read it. Gotta get bigger. All right. It says DJ Skills, yep, peace and love, salute, brethren. DJ Skills, Philly, PA. Philly in the house. What's going
Philly in the
on?
house. I'm from Philly. If I'm from Philly,
Yeah,
I'm from North. I
yeah.
migrated to Delaware, but I'm from North too. So shout out to you.
You know, in Northwest Philly, I was, born and raised, and on the playground is where I spent most of my days. Chilling out, relaxing at school.
That's the Fresh Prince joint.
They come the guys up to no good. All right, so he said, Philly music producer here, boom bap for life, history will repeat itself. That's what DJ Skills
Yeah,
thinks. Thank you, DJ Skills, man. Appreciate that.
yeah.
But
I hope it does come back around because I mean that was a fun time to create too. I mean it was a fun time because I started off making boom bap music, and it was a fun time to create. But now it's just like even with the stuff that I get, the requests that I get for TV stuff, they don't ask for boom bap.
yeah, it's more
It's
trap
all
now.
trap. Everything is going to be trapped forever. I'm just like, oh my god,
What
can we
trap
just
now?
change
Just for
the
a little
music
while.
just
Just a little
a
while.
little bit? Damn, like okay, y'all didn't have it for the last 10 years. Can we get a new clap, get a new snare? Jesus.
Hey, then DJ Skills throw salt on my wounds being a Cowboys fan. He says, "Go Eagles!" Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles, the NFL Super Bowl champions this year. Shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles ones. He said, "Go Eagles!" So shout out to you. Thank you,
Yeah.
DJ Skills. We appreciate that, man. We appreciate you coming in and blessing the show with your comments. Last question that we have of the day before we get out of here. We also like to talk a little bit of tech. Now, we know recently that both Native Instruments and MPC have released their schedules for the
Mm-hmm.
remaining of the year and things that
Mm-hmm.
we should be looking for coming up this quarter, next quarter, different things like that. And I was having some conversations about the two, and we know that they had the partnership. Now it seems like even though they had the partnership, both of them have gone to their respective corners to re-up and to come back out and to say, fight. You know what I'm saying? And it brings
Mm-hmm.
me to the question that a lot of people have been saying, and Kerry, this is my soapbox, and you're gonna correct me on this. And I have
Okay.
a hot take. This is my hot take for tech for today. This is the hot
Mm.
take. Now I'm gonna take you out the camera on this. I don't want you. I don't even want you to get in trouble for this one. This is the
Nah,
hot take for me to this. Okay. All right.
okay.
So for this one, all the old heads always talk about NPC, right? For all the reasons I understand. But the truth be told, y'all, Native Instruments sounds better than NPC. I just have to say that. Native Instruments sounds better than the NPC. The sounds of Native Instruments that come with Native Instruments are so much better than the sounds that come in the NPC. So, Carrie, the question is to you, does the NPC actually sound better than Native Instruments? I say no. I think it's a ploy. It sounds good. I'm just tired of everybody talking about how full and how warm and how big and all this. I have both. I have Native Instruments.
Okay.
I had the MPC, and when it comes to the sounds, Native Instruments sounds better. Kerry, your thoughts? Correct me if I'm wrong. Comment section, y'all. Let me know. I lost my mind. Let me know what's it. Okay, go ahead.
No. You're not wrong, but it's more to it than that.
Okay.
So yeah, the Native Instrument sounds, they are superior than the sounds of the MPC. But if you go back and if you look at the history, the MPC is famous for one, its drums, its drum heaviness, how heavy the drums are, and
Okay.
also two, its sequencing. Because when the MPC first came out, it didn't even have sounds in it at all. You had to sample into the MPC and use the sequencer. So yes, Native Instrument sounds, they sound, number one, they sound heavier, they sound warmer, and they sound way more realistic than the actual MPC sounds. Yes, I said it. I mean, the truth is truth. You know, so I mean, yeah. But Akai knows that. Akai knows that, which is why they partnered with them.
Okay, I got you. I'm shocked because I know you like the women. First of all, you have both. I know you have both. You have
I have both.
you have the instruments
And
and you have NPC. And I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
I'm late to the NPC game because everybody was telling me I had to get NPC. And now I'm starting to, getting more familiar with the NPC, especially with NPC 3.0, which is I love. A lot of people don't like it. I think it's amazing. People are growing towards it now. But now that I'm playing it too, and I start looking at it, I'm like, well, wait a minute. When it comes to sounds, actual sounds, I'm gravitating more back to my Native Instrument sounds and complete than I am to, NPC. And this is the thing, because NPC is made by I said I think we had this conversation. I said, because NPC is made by the air technology. And I was like, wait a minute, air technology was in Pro Tools. Been in Pro Tools for years. And I was like, that was one of the reasons. You said you like Expander 2. I didn't like Expander 2. But that was one of the,
Expander 2 is dope.
That's why I was like, I didn't like the sounds that came in Pro Tools with the air sounds, and now I think air's gotten 10 times better. Like over the years, they've air technology, simulators stuff. Let me review it. Let me go through it. But right now, I'm still going with complete right now as being newer, fresher, better sounds. Yeah, when it comes to producer right now, I think you got to have complete in your arsenal. More than I would say have NPC sounds or air sounds in your arsenal. Your thought, Kerry?
But here's the thing, because for your Native Instrument sounds, and I think this is the selling point for Akai. To get a Native Instrument sound, you have to have a computer attached to it. It has to come from a computer.
Right.
To get the Akai sounds, you don't need a computer. But now what they're doing is they're taking it so where you could get the Native Instrument sounds without a computer. That's where both are going to win. Because a lot of times now, you ever seen the guys with the MPC lives, the portable MPC? Now you could take your Native Instrument sounds and have it in this drum machine that you don't even need to plug up. So you could go to a park. Imagine you could go to a park, have Native Instrument sounds. You don't need a cord. Put on your headphones and make a beat with Native Instrument sounds. That's where I think they're both going to win. So yeah. To get back to your original point, Native Instruments sounds better to Akai, and Akai knows that. They're aware of it. It's like, okay, whatever air plugins that we have on this thing, they're okay, but they can't compete with how Native Instrument sounds. So maybe we need to partner up with them, because Akai has the sequencer and the drum part going for them. Now, Akai still wins in the drum department. You will not get a heavier drum sound than when you put drum sounds going through an MPC. However,
Is that still the truth? Wait, Kerry. Now, is that still the truth? Or because I know everybody talks about MPC 3000 having that when Roger Lynn was producing it, and then a lot of people saying it didn't sound the same now that it's not as heavy as it was or as weighty as it was with the MPC 3000. Now with the newer MPCs they have, even there was complaints even about the not the SE but the X, that it was like, hey, it's not as heavy as the MPC 3000. Then the SE came and said it was a little better. Then they said the key
Right.
61 and the key 37. They said, yo, they almost got it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying, like,
Right.
is that still true? I know that was true back in the day, but is that still true today? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you're not gonna get like the circuitry in the 3000 was a lot different. There's a lot more heavy, a lot more analog. But with the current MPCs, you're still gonna get a heavier drum sound than you would getting out of a computer. You're still going to get it. So I don't even think that the current NPCs are trying to compete with the older NPCs. I think the current NPCs are trying to compete with what you could do on a computer. So if I go into my Logic session, right, you could get some heavy, you get some good drum sounds in there. But if I'm producing my track out of an MPC and my drums are coming out of the MPC, even the MPC key that I got, you're going to be able to tell the difference in the weight of it. For sure. Can it compete with the weight of a 3000? It can't. I mean, it just can't. But the 3000, it's outdated. It's outdated. What's the word I'm looking for? It's outdated technology. The 3000 is. It's still heavier, but you could still get that sound if you know what you're doing. You can still get that 3000 sound into
I
some of
get
the
what you said.
newer.
Sonically it's still superior, but when it comes to technology wise, it's falling behind because of where we are at 2025. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about what,
Right.
a 10, 15-year old, technology
Longer
software,
than
probably longer than that compared
Yeah,
to
because I think
now.
that
Go
the
ahead.
3000 I think came out in 96, I want to
Oh
say
wow. Yeah.
96, 97. And you still got to run floppy disk. You still got to run an operating system in the 3000 when you turn it on. So and you still and yes, you still get the weight of it, but then you got a whole lot of different hassles that you got to go through
All
to
right, skill
use the
sets with the
machine.
right effect, the processor MPC sounds can definitely sound comparable, especially as standalone. But when you use computer and sounds in conjunction with that, say less.
Mm,
I hate
yeah,
skills. And then we had another comment. This is a new one. Thank you to 212 Live. I thought it was 2 Live Crew for a second. I was like, man, we don't hit the big time out of the way. He says, hi, I'm 212 Live, 212 Live or 212 IV. I'm gonna be rapper to unrig the industry. He's gonna be the rapper to unrig the industry. Hey, shout out, man. We hope you do it, man. We're gonna support you, bro. So go hard, man.
yep,
We want you to reach your goals and reach your dreams, man. Go for it, my brother. We
yep.
support you. Thank you for watching the show. Make sure y'all hit the like and subscribe, brother. And DJ Skill says, as an NPC user, I'm not impressed with either. I use Korg sources via MIDI. Hey, now we always talked about how Korg drums hit harder. I think you brought it up in the first one, in our first
The Triton
synthesizer,
drums.
right? Yeah,
I'm sorry, not the Triton drums. Damn it,
was the
what's the last? The
O1W,
Chronos drums.
Chronos, yeah.
The Chronos drums hit hard. But with
O1W and
what he
Triton and M3, they all hit harder, bro. Like all of them.
Yeah, but what DJ Skills just said way back when I first started using the MPC, that was my thing. And I think you saw it. I had a Trinity MIDI to my MPC. And I had drums that I would sample. Like I would get drums from different places off different records, and I would have my Trinity MIDI to my MPC. And that's how I made all of my beats. But the only the only thing is now, and I think you and I talked about this before, the speed as the speed at which we have to work. I know the speed at which I have to work. Everything needs to be right there in the box. I don't have time to track, because when you used to use a Trinity and an MPC, you would have to track each instrument individually. So in real time, you would have to track your strings. You would have to track your bass. You would have to track your kick, track your snare. But with the standalone machines that we have now, you don't have to do all that. You could just make your beat and just export the audio file, and it's right there on your computer. So, yeah.
And he said, and I rarely ever use MPC sounds besides the new plugin EX Sub Factory, and I use Masada
Masada cycle kits. Yeah,
for my
the
drums. Yeah.
Masada cycle kits are heavy. I have those. They sound like heavy old school boom bap drums. They sound super heavy, and when you hit them, like if you hit your kick, you're not gonna get the same kick every time. You're gonna get a variation of the kick. So
Now,
the Masada
is that a
sound
dynamic difference or velocity difference, or is it just they have actual different samples shooting every time you hit it? Which one is it?
is dynamic difference. So you can hit your kick, and if you hit it again, it'll be. I'm trying to think of the best way to explain it. It'll be like dum, something like that. You know what I mean? It'll be. I'm not explaining it right, but
No, you're doing a great job. Go
that's
ahead. Go ahead. Go
yeah.
ahead.
But that's one of those few sample kits. Like when you hit your hi hat is not going to be the same every time you hit it. It's going to vary. It might sound close, and then it might sound far away.
Drums that hit harder than they
Yeah. No, the Masada kits. Yeah, I'll send them to you. I think I got like 4 or 5 of them.
That's what's
4 or 5
up.
different expansions for it.
That's what's up, man. I told y'all, man,
Yeah.
this is crazy. Thank you guys so much. Our time carry, we done went over again, bro. We supposed to be doing it now. We can
Yeah,
get it
yeah,
in. Both of us got, man, I appreciate it. So and then it's kind of funny now. We talk about native instruments and the NPC users always get it back to the NPC, you know what I'm saying? But you
yeah,
know, I just think using both, man, is phenomenal. Like putting the two
yeah.
together, you know what I'm saying?
I mean,
And go ahead, I'm sorry.
and if you want to get real funky with it, you know what you can do. And this might be something. If people don't know this already, I might have to show it. You can pull up your native instrument contact right on your computer and have your standalone MPC device and MIDI the MPC to trigger the sounds that's on your computer and have the MPC as a sequencer for contact.
See, that's
I
something
may
that
have to.
let's do a video where we show them how to do it, set that up, show them how to do it. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. We're gonna make sure that we get those videos and set it up. Another thing you showed me last time, the other day, where you was talking about where you can clone the sound from
Mm-hmm.
external keyboard into your NPC and then have it do
Yeah,
it that way. You know what I'm saying? So that's something else
yeah.
that you can think about too. No, I was telling a friend of mine, I said, hey man, when you see people use a lot of NPCs, they like me, they have like the Phantom. Like I got sitting right there, my NPC is 61 right there, and I got my Phantom sitting there. They have different things hooked up to it as using the sound module, but the sequencing, such a standalone, man, you're not gonna beat that. You're not gonna beat the
Yeah,
workflow
and
that
that's
people
the
are
thing
saying.
because the sequencer is so quick. You know what I mean? Like a lot of
Yeah.
times you don't even have to hit stop. You could just, just go all the way through and just build your whole beat.
Yeah. So
So,
I will, when it comes to standalone, I think Native Instruments has a ways to go when it comes to standalone, but they are saying they're coming to work on the standalone. They got some new sounds coming to standalone, some new updates coming from the standalone. Their standalone, which is the NPC, I mean the Native Instrument
Machine
Machine
Plus,
Plus,
Machine
right?
Plus, yeah,
So I'm thinking about buying one. You know, I'm thinking about buying the
yeah,
Machine Plus.
yeah,
I have a macro. I think I have a micro now, M3 macro. I think you got the M3, the big M3,
mm,
the
yeah,
MK3. So I think
mm,
that it's gonna be interesting to see. So it's not a lot of people was like, was mad at Machine when they came out with the update. They came out with the partnership with NPC. Machine came, Native Instruments came back and said, nah, we still are dedicated to you guys. NPC has a type of our sounds, but they don't have the actual, the real Akuna Matata. They don't
yeah.
have the real
They don't.
sauce. They just have a little.
Yeah,
We gave them a little bit. We gave them a taste of it. But hey, we're
mm,
dedicated to our people and our stock. And I think they had to say that because the shareholders was like, yo, what you doing? You know what I'm saying? And people
right,
that was
right.
invested was like, yo, what you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you guys giving up? Or we're not gonna get any more machines? Or we're not getting any more updates? And then 3 point, and they didn't do themselves any favors either. Because
Mm.
Akai right now is so, and I think it was smart for Akai to be like, hey, Akai came back, and then they sent the message to all the Native Instruments users. Akai came back and said, yeah, we're gonna stay up front. We're gonna keep our foot on your neck too, Native Instruments.
Mm.
We got this with these updates coming. And Machine hurt themselves with
But
their 3.0 update. It was not what it needed to be. And I think they're saying before the end of this quarter, they're supposed to get another update to 3.0.
mm.
So that should be it
and,
too
you-
also.
and you know what I think is going to happen, and I'll be quiet after this. I think that either Native Instruments is going to end up buying Akai, or Akai is going to end up buying Native Instruments.
You think so?
Yeah, it's going to go one way or the other. And I think it might be where Native Instruments might buy Akai because Native
What?
Instruments just bought Isotope. Yeah.
Talk about the company that owns Native Instruments. Yeah, but that happened. I don't know. Let it be. I hope. I want to say this for the sake of
Mm.
competition. I hope not. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Just for the sake of competition, I hope it stays. I'm kind of with it, saying the way it stands. So I hope not for the sake of competition. I
Mm.
hope not. for everything else, man, it's great. I like to see the partnerships, the limited
Mm.
partnerships. I like that. It gives us an opportunity. I know you bought the both of them to go on your NPC. I'm still on
Mm.
I'm using the demos. I got the whole thing. So like,
Mm.
do I really want to buy them again just so I can use it on NPC when I got them all on my computer? That's just like
I mean, I like the standalone aspect of it. You know what I mean? I like to be able to disconnect, have my computer screen off, and just focus. Like sometimes this weirdo stuff, I'll turn off all the lights in my room and just have it where it's just me and the keyboard. That's all
yeah,
I got. You know what I mean? So I can really zone in. I'm not looking on YouTube or looking on social media or something like that.
right.
You know, so
Gotcha. But man, I
you know,
appreciate. Listen, thank you everybody,
thank
everybody.
you very
Thank you
much.
guys for coming, watching. As usual, y'all wait till we get ready to come out there. Everybody want to come on. But we thank you guys so much for participating. Make sure y'all watch the rebroadcast of this. We're gonna clip up. We're gonna put chapters in there and everything so you guys can skip the different parts that you want to hear about and you want to talk about. We just really, really thank you guys for what you guys have done and joining us. Please, please, if you get a chance, hit the like and subscribe button. We're only at we haven't even got 100 subscribers yet. We started this new channel. We got to get the subscribers up, okay, guys? So go to YouTube. It's KDJ World on YouTube. Hit the subscribers. Help us to get to 1,000. Our goal is to reach 1,000. I know we're gonna do it. I know it because you guys are loving the content. We love giving it to you. We're gonna try to come. We're gonna try to be a little bit more consistent, Kerry. Yes, no.
Yes,
Yeah, we're gonna try to
yes,
be a
yes,
little bit more consistent, at least once a week, giving
yes.
y'all what's going on in music, what's going on in the news, and what's going on in that. And then I also come with some stuff just for the channel. Just I got my nail review coming up, and then I also got what I promised you guys when we was talking about the AI, which is changing everything. Everything.
Mm, mm,
Refusion. If you haven't tried Refusion, try Refusion. It's really good. Suno has changed my production life. You know what I'm saying?
mm.
Suno's is amazing. Um, I was an audio guy. I was wrong. I was wrong. And it's one thing on Suno. I'm telling you the one thing. I'm gonna tell you the one. I'll tell y'all later. Wait till the next show. I'm gonna tell y'all the one thing on Suno that changed it all for me. One thing, I was like, I don't need any of this other. I don't need to create them. I could create my own music and stuff like landscapes and stuff like that. But there's one thing that Suno did. When they did that, it's only in beta, but it is amazing. When they did that, it was over with. I was like, okay, Udio. I have not opened Udio since I seen this one thing, and I gotta give Timberland. We talked about Timberland too. Timberland is starting that new wave of AI production, so he's innovating again. You know what I'm saying? Like, his partnership with Udio, but that's not true because Will I Am is with Udio, right? So
Mm,
Will I Am is an investor. I think he's an investor, part owner of Udio. You got Timberland that's been that's working and sponsored by Suno, and then now we saw. I don't know if y'all saw the video this week of Kanye West using AI in different way. And the cool thing about it is everybody's using it in a different way. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
Everybody's using it in a different way. And we all using it really, to be honest with you, dog. Like, if you still separating, that's AI. You
mm.
know what I'm saying? So, beat detection, it's AI. You know what I'm saying? So we all using it to a
I mean,
certain degree. Go ahead.
the MPC is AI actually, so
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying?
and MPC is actually AI too.
So like, that's cool. I didn't know Roger Lynn created Quantize. That was crazy when I found that out. I was like, yo,
Hmm.
that's crazy. I was like, Roger Lynn said,
Yep,
hey, I created Quantize. I was like, wait a minute, you did what? Like
yep,
that might be bigger than the NPC sounds as the Quantize mode. You know what I'm saying? The
yeah.
swing and the Quantize, that was crazy. Listen, love you
Right.
guys, Carrie. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. Anything else you
No
want to say to the
problem.
people?
No, thank you guys for watching, and once again, hit like and subscribe so we can get to 1,000 subs. But thank you guys for watching. We will be back next week with the rest of our producer list, and we'll find something techie to talk about, I'm sure. So,
We appreciate you guys. So listen, we'll leave with this. Hey, go for your goals. Don't ever stop. Don't ever stop creating, and keep going to what you're going to do. Greatness awaits, and success looks good on you. We'll holler at you guys later. Peace.
jeez.